And I want you to come with us. This is Father Moan crossing the Jordan River 40 years ago in 1965. This is him standing on Mount Nebo also. When you stand on Mount Nebo and come with us to the Middle East as an ambassador for peace, we're not just as tourists, we're not tourists, but we go there and work with our ambassadors for peace in every community. This is the Jordan River. You can't see it so well, but this is the Jordan River Valley. This is Mount Nebo where Moses looked out, his last look over Canaan. And this blue line where you see the arrow here trails off into the Dead Sea. That is the Jordan River. When you bring your family or your ambassadors for peace to this mountaintop and you pray there, your religious roots are kindled. Your courage and your feeling of destiny and hope for humanity is strengthened. Then we go to Jericho and stand where the walls of Jericho fell down. We go throughout the Middle East. Here's Gethsemane. When you go to Gethsemane as a Christian, this is the area where Father Moan prayed, and he felt that Jesus really prayed right in this area. And if you look right from Gethsemane on the Mount of Olives, you see the gold dome up here? That's the eastern wall of the old city of Jerusalem. So that means in this olive grove at Gethsemane, Jesus could look over Jerusalem and pray when he prayed in Gethsemane. This is the tree that Father Moan in 1965 blessed as a holy ground. And he drove, see that little nail in there? I don't know if you can see it so well. It's a nail. And he put 3 nails in that tree in 1965. This is before any interreligious activity was going on. He put 3 nails in there. One for Islam, one for Christianity, and one for Judaism. Then we continue to meet the sheikhs throughout the Middle East. We've made deep friendships with President Abbas, who's now the President of Palestine. We continue to bring the Middle East leaders to Korea. They meet Father Moan, and we're teaching in the Westbank, where these Muslim clerics came together for a nonviolent seminar with Reverend Fontroy and all of our leaders. Reverend Fontroy gave a powerful speech here. It was really incredible. He shared deeply how the black leaders in America, the black religious leaders, Christian leaders, broke the yoke of oppression. America's incredible model for breaking the yoke of oppression. The black people have been oppressed in America. The yoke was broken by Dr. King. We still have a lot more to do to clean it up and equalize. However, the yoke was broken. How was it broken? With violence? Or with God's Word and loving all people, bringing all God's people together and marching black, white, Hispanic, Asian. That's why King could say at the Lincoln Memorial, I look for that day when all God's children, black, white, Jew, and Gentile, can join together at that banquet table. That's the vision of God. That's not just Dr. King's vision. That's God's vision. That's why God is working to bring from America the spirit of the Christians that broke the yoke of oppression with nonviolence right to the leaders. I ask you to rise up and become ambassadors for peace. I ask you to become serious in your understanding of what we're doing, and who Father Moan is. We will end the war in the Middle East. I guarantee you. I know because I walked in the streets of Gaza, and I've had guns fired at us, and bullets flying, and I know that God is with us. And if we go with love, we can show a way for peace to break the oppression. That's why when Reverend Fontroy spoke to these sheikhs, you know what he said? Religious leaders! We must become headlights, not taillights. Religious leaders, we must be the thermostat that adjusts the temperature, not the thermometer. American Native Indians play such an incredible role. They are the only ones that can walk in Gaza, and everybody feels that the Native Americans have suffered more than anybody. So they open the doors. But again, I tell you, ambassadors for peace, we don't just talk. We also act. We move with action. That's why we took this conference out on the street, and the first time ever in the Westbank, Christian leaders, Muslim leaders, and Jewish leaders marched in the Westbank to really highlight the tearing down of all walls and bringing together all of God's children without violence, to end the suicide bombing, to end the attacks on innocent people, to end all kinds of war and conflict. How are we going to do this? We have to be courageous and bold. But my Bible tells me that Joshua walked up to the walls of Jericho. And when he had the unity of all God's people, did he make the walls of Jericho fall down with weapons? Or did he actually unify the 12 tribes? And when they shouted, what happened? The walls came down. We are going to bring down the wall of racism, the wall of divorce, the wall of hatred, the wall dividing our children from our parents in America. We're going to bring the wall down between men and women. We're going to bring the wall down between Palestine and Israel. That's why we stood at that wall. And we prayed and we said, with nonviolence and with love, we're going to bring peace in the Middle East. Then the next day we went to the Knesset. We're the only ones that can do this. I'm amazed myself. You go march in the Westbank and get in the Arabic news, and then the next day you're in the Knesset. Because we have Jewish ambassadors for peace that also totally believe that Father Moon is the only one that can bring peace. That's why this is real, my brothers and sisters. And your work here in San Francisco is real. We have to go beyond the barriers. We have to do these conferences. We have to march together. And we have to really see the power of God to end all divisions. How important is America for this? It is the central nation to make all this happen. There is no other nation that can carry out the work of peace in the world like America. Here's a legislator from New Hampshire, Congressman Gonzalez. He's a Spanish legislator from New Hampshire. You know, only America can have a 89% white state and have a Hispanic legislator. Right? America. America is the only place that has every race, every culture. Here's Dr. Amos Brown. What do ambassadors for peace do? We bring the Jewish, the Muslim, and the Christian together. We went into the Jewish communities. Look at this Palestinian young man together singing with this young Jewish sister. Incredible. Incredible things are going on. Then we went into the Gaza Strip. Many times in the Gaza Strip. We went there and we brought the principles, just what I showed you today. We brought the principles of peace. And look at the message going out by Archbishop Stallings. Look at the message. Look at all these microphones. These are all television microphones. Do you see all these microphones? You've got Al Jazeera here. You've got Egyptian TV. You've got Lebanese TV here. You've got Iranian TV. You've got Hezbollah TV. You've got another Syrian TV. And then Channel 10 in Israel. Then what are we preaching? What are we saying to the people of Palestine? That America really loves you, and that we want to bring nonviolent resolution, nonviolent reconciliation, and that Jews, Muslims, and Christians must come together as one. So my brothers and sisters, thank you for your beautiful spirit tonight, and I pray